Hello and welcome to Startup Street. I'm Arundhati Ramanan, and these are the headlines that we're tracking for you from the startup world. Cybersecurity firm Safe has raised $70 million in a fresh funding round led by Avatar Ventures for building CyberAgi. The round was led by Avatar Ventures with participation from Susquehanna Asia Venture Capital and others. Deep tech startup 6sense has bagged $8.5 million in a Series A funding round led by Peak 15 Surge, Alpha Intelligence Capital and others. The fresh capital will be used to expand into chip-making hubs across Malaysia, Taiwan and the US. Zomato's Dipinder Goyal plans to make India's first turbine engine from scratch for planes with his new venture, LAT Aerospace. The startup has announced the establishment of a propulsion research center in Bengaluru. The facility will focus on making India's first indigenous gas turbine engines from scratch. Swiggy will sell its 12% stake in Rapido that is now foraying into food delivery. Swiggy acknowledged that Rapido's move could lead to a potential conflict of interest, while it is unclear how much money the company will make from its 3-year-old, as deal negotiations are yet to begin in its latest shareholder letter. Apple reports a blowout June quarter with $94 billion in revenue, the biggest jump in nearly 4 years. India revenue hits a record high. The tech giant projects a $1 billion hit due to Trump's tariffs in the current quarter. Those were the headlines that we're tracking for you this evening. But on What's Brewing today, AI-powered recruitment platform for blue-collar workers, Vahan.ai, has announced a strategic investment from LemmaTree, an investment firm founded by Singapore's Temasek. Alongside this transaction, Vahan.ai has also acquired L.earn, the digital learning and upskilling tech platform of Good Worker, which was backed by LemmaTree. The company says the strategic investment will help them to further develop the technology stack and move closer to placing at least 1 lakh people per month, up from about 40,000 people per month currently. For more on this, joining me now is Madhav Krishna, the CEO and founder of the company. Madhav, thank you so much for taking time out and being here with us on Startup Street. You know, if you could start off by telling us about this strategic investment from Temasek's LemmaTree, what is the size of the investment you've secured and how will you sort of deploy this money?
First of all, thank you for having me here, Arundhati. We are very excited to partner with the LemmaTree, which, as you mentioned, is backed by Temasek, one of the largest funds in the world. There are primarily 3 objectives behind this partnership. Number one, to obviously improve the tech stack that we've developed, specifically the AI recruiter, which is essentially a voice bot that can speak to candidates from the blue-collar space in English and Hindi and help them match with the best jobs available for them. It can answer questions, and soon it'll be able to collect documents and validate those. We're now expanding into multiple languages. We plan to support at least 8 major languages by the end of the year, and at least a few 10 to 20 dialects as well. Second, we are very excited now to expand into other verticals outside of the gig economy. As you mentioned, Vahan today recruits about 40,000 workers a month, primarily in the delivery and gig economy space. So we work with all the large delivery platforms, including Zomato, Swiggy, Flipkart, Amazon, Zepto, Uber, Rapido, Blinkit, etc. And we've proven our model there. We are now expanding to sectors such as manufacturing, as well as warehousing. Soon, we will also consider expanding to other geographies outside of India. So both Southeast Asia and the MENA region are very relevant for what we are doing. Last but not the least, this partnership with LemmaTree and Temasek includes the acquisition of a product called L.earn that was developed by Good Worker a few years ago. Now, we're very excited to bring this product into our portfolio.
Right.
It can help blue-collar workers upskill. As you know, India has a massive upskilling problem. We produce close to 7 million graduates every year, but it's estimated that more than half of them are unemployable today. So we hope to make a dent in that problem space as well through the use of the L.earn product.
Absolutely. So big plans there with the funds that you have raised, expansion plans as well as, this new acquisition that you have. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in detail. But before that, sort of Vahan.ai currently places about 40,000 workers each month, right? And you're sort of targeting 1 lakh placements. So what are the key levers that will help you scale 2.5x from here, and how soon will you be able to get there?
Yeah, that's a great question. One of the things that is turning out to be a tailwind for us is the growth of the Q-commerce space itself. As you know, Swiggy, Instamart, Blinkit, and Zepto are growing very, very aggressively. In fact, we estimate that close to 1,500 to 2,000 dark stores will be added in the space within this calendar year. And then the space is expected to double from there in 2026. So we will see significant growth in this space over the next 18 to 24 months. That's a tailwind that's helping us with growth as well. Secondly, the technology that we're developing. Like I mentioned, our AI recruiter today is able to talk to candidates in English and Hindi, and we do close to 40 to 50,000 interviews a day with the AI. Once we expand to other languages, we'll be able to reach many more people across different parts of India, and that should also help with our growth.
Right. And, you've also, as you mentioned, you've also announced the acquisition of L.earn, right? And you are sort of now integrating upskilling directly into the recruitment journey. If you could tell us about the synergies from this acquisition and how this will sort of shift Vahan.ai's model from, a jobs platform to a full-fledged career ecosystem.
Yes. I'm glad you used the word career, because that's exactly what we are trying to build for blue-collar workers. Today, blue-collar workers, unfortunately, don't really have careers. Most of them work the same type of job throughout their entire lives. And what we're trying to do with this product is help them grow. Let's say if somebody starts as a delivery worker, can they perhaps learn maybe a little bit of English and start to do sales? Or can they learn maybe a little bit of coding and start to do entry-level coding? And in fact, with AI, that's become more and more doable. So our goal is to help people really grow in their lives and their careers, not just from an economic standpoint, but an overall societal status standpoint as well. So L.earn, I think, is incredibly important for us on the path to achieving that. The other thing that I am personally very passionate about is as the world changes with AI coming in more and more, people will need to upskill very quickly. India, in fact, today has about 950 million people between the ages of 18 to 60. So it's a very young population, and it's a growing population. I believe that the biggest value in applying AI for India will come in helping those people upskill and augment their skills as well. So that's our plan. We hope that we can really help people get closer to their aspirations and ultimately help our country and our economy grow.
Absolutely. India's job growth is expected to be driven 70% by blue-collar roles by 2030, right? So how is Vahan.ai tapping into Tier 2 and Tier 3 markets where digital access and literacy sort of remains, major hurdles? If you could quickly tell us, we're running out of time.
That's a great point. In fact, even today, we're able to recruit people across 920 cities in India. So we already have fairly good reach. Our technology, especially the AI recruiter, becoming more capable in terms of languages and dialects, will further improve our reach, and hopefully we'll be able to reach the very hinterlands of the country with that.
Right. And how concentrated is your revenue today? Do a few major partners like Swiggy or Zepto make up a large portion of your income, and how sticky are those enterprise relationships over time?
Our customers have never left us. We're lucky to have true partners in these companies. Our contribution to them, in fact, has only grown over time, and I'm sure it will continue to grow as this space expands as well.
Right. All right, Madhav, thank you so much for taking time out and being here with us on Startup Street, and we wish you all the best going forward.
Thank you for having me.
Trupeer.ai just raised $3 million to change the way businesses create product videos, and it's not your average screen recorder. Built for the speed and scale of modern teams, Trupeer turns raw screen recordings into polished AI-powered videos in seconds, complete with avatars, voiceovers, and translations in over 50 languages. Over 10,000 teams already use it for everything from demos to training. Backed by RTP Global and Salesforce Ventures, this Bengaluru and SF-based startup is betting big on making workplace communication video first and lightning fast. Joining me now to discuss this further is Shivali Goyal, the co-founder and CEO of Trupeer. Shivali, thank you so much for being here with us on Startup Street. You know, you are an AI-based content creation platform. If you could take us through the specific problem that you're trying to solve for, and if you could take us through what's on offer.
Absolutely, Arundhati. Really nice to be on this platform today and talk to you. What we're essentially doing is trying to democratize content creation for the world of software and products, right? So if you look at, the software world today, right, with AI, it's become so much easier to create new software, right? Like every day you can spin up new tools, prototypes, etc. But when you look at the communication layer around it, right, being able to talk about it, being able to market it, being able to sell it, being able to train people on it, that layer is still broken, right? Because content creation is fundamentally hard. So what we have done is we've created a really, really easy to use self-serve platform where anyone, irrespective of their skills, resources, or time, can create studio quality videos in a matter of minutes, right? So something that would take thousands of dollars and weeks is now being done in minutes in like 50 to 60 languages, across the world. So that's what we enable.
Right. And, what sort of makes Trupeer's AI video engine stand out from traditional screen recorders or video editors and, other firms that you're sort of competing with at this point?
Absolutely. So if you look at, traditional screen recorders, right, the place where they start, where they end is where we actually start, right? So a screen recording typically is just like really rough, right? You have to put in a lot of effort in scripting, editing, and making it actually perfect and ready to use, right? Whereas what we have done is essentially taken all of that headache away from the user. So if you do a really rough screen recording where, you're saying anything, you're sort of showing different things on your screen, but you're not really perfect about it, we will make it perfect, right? So in literally minutes, we convert that rough screen recording into something really professional without you having to spend any time in editing, adding visual effects, zoom effects, scripting, voiceover, etc. Right? So that's the fundamental value. And if you compare it to traditional video editors, right, like they're actually built only for people who know video editing, right? So you need that professional skill. Whereas if you look at our platform, that's actually now, like you said, it's being used by 10,000 plus teams. And these people happen to be first-time video creators, right? These are people who've never made videos before, but now they're making like hundreds of videos a month just because it's so much easier to do, right? So it's engineers, marketers, sales teams, customer support teams, and so on, right? So those people are finally able to create professional quality videos.
Sure. And, you've raised this $3 million in funding. How do you sort of plan to use these funds? What's on top of the agenda?
Absolutely. So what we're seeing, Arundhati, is that there's a wide need for this kind of a solution across markets, right, across countries as well as across functions, right, all the way from sales to customer support to product marketing. So obviously, the first thing on our agenda is global expansion, right? So a lot of this fund will actually be utilized towards accelerating that. But even if you look at our product, right, there's so many vectors of growth, right, beyond the content creation that we do today. There's other formats of video creation that we can enable for our users. And then how to utilize that content in actually driving business value, right? Be it solving support tickets or be it, actually driving sales conversions, right? So there are so many workflows and, there's a platformization almost that can be done around this layer of content. So that's the product acceleration that we'll be working on.
So product acceleration and, geographic expansion. But if you could sort of take us through the kind of engagement that you're currently seeing, how are teams using Trupeer, and what's the kind of impact it's having across functions like marketing, support, and training?
Absolutely. So, interestingly, when we started, we thought that it's going to be used by very specific teams, right? Like be it product marketers or people who actually have the mandate of making demos. But then interestingly, what we start seeing in organizations is that once a couple of people in the company adopt it, it rapidly spreads to other teams as well. Whoever needs to communicate anything on their screen, right? Be it an engineer who's trying to sort of create, like, let's say, a test case video, right? Earlier, they would have to actually go on a Zoom call to communicate that, but now they can just do a Trupeer video, right? So we see rapid expansion across functions within the company, and most of it is organic because they end up seeing one or two videos, right? They see a video and they're like, okay, I also want to create something like this. So that's something that we're seeing. And I think the other interesting vector here is that, apart from startups who were sort of our initial adopters, we are now seeing a lot of enterprise adoption, right? So in our suite of clients, we also now have Fortune 500 companies, right? And their teams using it for global, training, global transformation, digital initiatives, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of enterprise level movement that we are now seeing.
So lots of enterprise level movement that you're seeing. But if you could take us through your business model then and the kind of, revenues that you're currently clocking, where do you hope to end this year? Also, is it mainly through subscription? Are there other revenue streams as well?
Absolutely. So, our main model of revenue generation is subscriptions, right? So we offer subscriptions all the way like from, $50 a month to, something that can actually go into hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on, your video needs, like how many videos you need to create in a month, how many teams need to use it, how many seats need to leverage it. But we've created in a way that we offer a very generous free tier as well, right? So the idea is that anyone who just wants to try it out can just go on our app and make a couple of videos and get comfortable and only then subscribe, right? So what we see in our like I said in these companies is that first a couple of people start adopting it individually as self-serve plans, and then they bubble up into enterprise plans, right? Because they have larger needs. So that's sort of the revenue trajectory that we are seeing, and like month on month we are growing like 50 to 60%. So by the end of the year, it's going to be quite a sizable revenue.
All right, quite a sizable revenue, not giving us any numbers there. But, if you could sort of take us through your presence, you were talking about big geographic expansion as well with the funds that you've raised. What's the global expansion plan? How big will the India market be for you? If you could sort of give us also a revenue split between the geographies.
Absolutely. So right now, around 50 to 60% of our revenue is actually US, and another 30 to 40% is India, and then there are other markets as well. Where we see that this platform has adoption wherever there's a lot of software being created, right? So obviously, US and Europe tend to be like a big chunk of that. So that will continue to be significant for us. But having said that, given the language angle, right? Given that for the first time, people are able to make videos in any language, so that language barrier is solved for, we are actually seeing adoption in a lot of like language sensitive markets, right? Like be it South America, be it, markets in Europe, like Germany, Spain, Italy, etc. Right? So there's a lot of demand coming from these markets where they would traditionally not be able to open up their platform for the world just because there was a language barrier.
Right. And, you are currently present in over 50 languages. Are you looking at sort of, developing languages for the Indian market as well?
Absolutely. So that's actually a big part of, what we've already done, right? Like if you look at, some of our enterprise clients in India, they're actually now creating content for, like for in Marathi, in Telugu, in Tamil, right? And they were earlier not able to do that just because there were not enough resources or translators or speech writers, right? So now, they're able to take that one video and translate it into 50 other, in 3 or 4 other regional languages, and then actually help educate those native speakers on their software, on or whatever training that they want to do.
All right, Shivali, thank you so much for taking time out and being here with us on Startup Street.
Absolutely. Thank you.
On that note, it is time for us to head into a short break. But coming up next, Pune-based startup Zerocircle has made seaweed processing a viable business model and an eco-friendly one by turning seaweed into edible packaging. A special report on the other side. Stay tuned. Landfills like these may start shrinking in size quite rapidly if Pune-based entrepreneur Neha Jain has her way. This former Google employee runs Zerocircle, a 5-year-old startup that is repurposing a plant that not many people spend too much time thinking about, Seaweed. And she and her team are on a mission to reduce the mounds of plastic-ridden landfills and rubbish heaps, one plastic bag at a time.
So this is brown.
Welcome back. You're still with us on Startup Street. It looks like plastic, it feels like plastic, and it works like plastic. But it's not plastic, and it dissolves after use. A Pune-based startup has made seaweed processing a viable business model and an eco-friendly one at that. Here's a report. Landfills like these may start shrinking in size quite rapidly if Pune-based entrepreneur Neha Jain has her way. This former Google employee runs Zerocircle, a 5-year-old startup that is repurposing a plant that not many people spend too much time thinking about, Seaweed. And she and her team are on a mission to reduce the mounds of plastic-ridden landfills and rubbish heaps, one plastic bag at a time.
So this is brown seaweed. This is a fresh seaweed that grows in the ocean, and it grows all over the world. We source this seaweed from south of India and west of India. We then take it through different stages of extraction to extract the material and compound of interest without changing any property of the compounds.
Zerocircle creates coatings and pellets out of seaweed which can be turned into plastic-like sheets. These are not only easily compostable, they dissolve in seawater, they're also edible. Any plastic manufacturer can use these pellets in existing machinery to make these sheets and even products like carry bags.
Where the magic begins and the IP that we hold is in the conversion of these pellets. Now, why this is very important is because when you make the material, it needs to go into an existing manufacturing line, right? Because we want to make sure that every plastic manufacturer that is available in India and all over the world is able to use our solutions in their lines.
Zerocircle has raised 20 crore rupees in seed funding this year, and Neha plans to use this to improve on and expand her product range. Adding to the sustainability factor is that the residue left over from this process is mixed with crop waste to make Zerocircle's unique tree-free paper.
So far, we've created already manufactured 1 million pieces of coated products in the market. Our goal is to commercialize coated products, and at the end of 2 years, our goal is to commercialize the coatings itself, so that not just the converters and the end users, which is retailers, even the manufacturers who are making the paper and converting the paper are also able to use that.
Seaweed plastic and seaweed paper is just the beginning. Neha tells CNBC-TV18 that hard plastics to make bottles and sachets are also in the pipeline.
So if you can simplify, if this, let's say, converts into my bottle of shampoo, and if I throw it away, how will it be recycled? How will it dissolve? How will it biodegrade?
Fantastic question. So this material is biodegradable. This material is compostable. In industrial settings, in home compost, a 2-year-old can compost this.
The sustainable and eco-friendly initiative also has huge commercial potential.
You get your food wrapped in plastic, your skincare products and the bags they come in, your phone cover, stationery, cups, snacks, the list is inexhaustible. Studies show that India generates approximately 9.3 to 9.5 million tons of plastic waste every year, which is about 20% of global plastic emissions.
And it's this 20% number that Neha and her team are keen on bringing down drastically. In Pune with Sakshi Baukar, Arundhati Ramanan. And moving on, this week, as many as 20 startups raised $140 million. According to Venture Intelligence, some of the notable fundraise includes EV battery swapping operator Sun Mobility, securing $60 million from Helios Climate and others, and mattress maker The Sleep Company, attracting an investment of $12 million from Saffron Investments, Carol on Investments, and Infinity Partners. That's not all. Dairy brand Desi Farms landed an investment of $11.43 million from 3 State Ventures and others, and EdTech startup SpeakX secures $11 million, while B2B market research startup Metaforms bags $9 million. So far this year, over 500 companies raised a total of $4.8 billion. And with that, it is a wrap on this edition of Startup Street. More news and updates coming up on the other side. Stay tuned.
IndusInd Bank likely to face further government scrutiny after disclosing accounting lapses. Sources say Corporate Affairs Ministry has initiated a suo motu inquiry. IndusInd Bank says it has not received any communication from the ministry in this regard.